Well, we're all back once again. It's a new week, new opportunities. Things probably going to be happening this week as well, as the title does suggest. It's the last chance for Bulas before the next thing happens. The next thing occurs. As always, there's always the next thing. Holy shit, whenever we're looking for news, there's always the next piece of news, perhaps even news that no one even knew about to begin with. But on this week, there be having, there shall be what, the FOMC meeting, I do believe. So, there will be some price action probably predicated upon that event. But as always, when it comes to events, who knows what the fuck's going to happen with that. And like I said, there's always the next news. There's always the next event. There's always the next unforeseen thing. And as always, the closest that you and I will ever be, you and I, just random crypto nerds hanging out in the bleachers here, the closest that we will ever be to price is the price. No, the closest that we will ever be to anything is price. Yes, price is pure. Price is as pure as we can get, at least, unless you're an insider, which you're probably not. Or if you are, let me know what's going to happen. Hey, I'd like to know as well, because that would be very, very helpful. Anyways, I see a lot of familiar faces in here. I even see Carrot. What's up, man? Good morning to you. Matt's Mead as well. Good morning to you, sir. Jasmine Gauchi says, all right, listening, driving the truck around. It doesn't get any better than this. Fuck yeah, man. Crown, just want to say thank you for your help of controlling my retardism from trading. Yes, indeed. We're controlling the retardism from trading. And honestly, when it comes down to it, I'll say my usual piece here. I do believe that probably most people are just better off not trading. Most people are better off just investing for the long term, holding, mostly forgetting about what the hell they're holding, and just looking about 10 to 15 to maybe even 20 years later. Maybe even never even looking at all, just taking out some loans against that, perhaps when you're old as fuck. That perhaps what might be the way to be going. Anyways, I see... See a lot of shit in here as well. What's up, Mr. Gallo? Good morning to you, man. It's going up, sir. It has gone up. However, as we went over in last week's video, if Bitcoin did reclaim 114, which was last Tuesday's high, then we are very likely looking at a move between about 116 to 120-ish region. I do think that it can go for a little bit more than what we've already seen, which is 116, because obviously that's already been hit. But this is still very much ripe, at least in my opinion, for I don't know if I want to call this a trap or if I just want to call it, one of these range play moves, which we've seen many times. We have the exact same fucking setup as before, and people just do not learn their goddamn lessons within these ranges. And ultimately, I do think that right now is still, still really a time of boringness, honestly. If you're a bull, I think you want it to be boring. I think if you're a bear, then you want bears to take control, like basically right from here, maybe a little bit higher, it could go, like I said, maybe like 120 or something like that. But, if you're bullish, I do think that your best bet here is just to fucking pray for some more boringness into at least the end of this month, probably even into a good portion of November as well. We'll be going over, of course, conditions for that. What's up, Mr. Ben's Chair? Good morning to you, man. El Satoshi's in here. Be good, Bobby Sparrow. Mike's Mind and Matter. Good morning to you, man. Good morning to you indeed. Metasignal says, Gallo says, Metasignal say 143,000 is target number 3. Yes, but as you probably also know, or perhaps conveniently left out, is that when we are looking at target number 3 here, which actually you already have on the board, and, I will bring it into a piece of this analysis, it's a very, very low probability. We're talking about just over 20%, which is, in my experience, or in my opinion, very, very low. Anything really below about 40% is, I don't really like to talk about it too much. Target number 2, though, is rather close to 50%, seeing as we've already hit target number 1. So, that does, that is a coin flip's probability more or less, and that would be back into the 120s. So I do think that is possible. But still, I have my, I certainly have major reservations with this current move for price. There are still several things that do suggest that Bitcoin is at best range bound, which I do think would be a good thing. What's up, Martini guy? What the fuck, man? Good to see you, brother. Holy shit. Bearish, probably. Yeah, it could be a little bit bearish going on right here. I don't know if I'd necessarily call it bearish. I feel like I've been massively misheard on this, or I think maybe just people just don't know their fucking terms. But when it comes down to it, do I think that Bitcoin come back down to like low 100s or upper 90s? Yeah. Is that necessarily bearish? I don't know about bearish. I would look at that as still more or less a range play. Bearish to me would be at least putting in a weekly downtrend, which we certainly do not have as of this moment. We barely have even a relevant lower low. In fact, I wouldn't really consider that, and we certainly do not have a lower high yet. So ultimately, when it comes to bearishness, I really don't like to lean into that until we're like in real downtrend territory. So it's still going to be a bit of a waiting game right here. But like I said, more sideways here is going to favor the boo loss. I just think it takes more time, man. I just think it takes more time, to be honest. So yeah, a little bit of patience is necessary as usual. A little bit of patience. I was making the grand mistake of logging into Twitter first thing in the morning, and what do I see? I see all sorts of fucking political takes on Mr. Zoran Mamdani. That seems to be like the biggest fucking news story of the day. And whoa, hey now, we are all gay. We're all a little bit homos right now. You're a homo, I'm a homo, we are all homos. That is actually a song that Elsa has made. I'm not even joking as well. We are indeed all homos here. And on top of that, and more to the point, talking about that fucking socialist communist motherfucker, Jesus Christ, man, that is perhaps one of the most concerning things that I've seen in a very long time, that it's looking like he's about to run away with the election. Now, I mean, at the end of the day, who knows from these polls, because polls have been not the most accurate in recent times. At least that's what's been shown. But it does seem like it does seem, regardless of whether he's going to win or not, he has a significant amount of support, which I don't know, man, just sad. And I was thinking before, okay, maybe there's like a silver lining on this. Maybe there's actually something positive if he does win. Perhaps people will then wake up to the disastrous effects after they experience it themselves. But then I remembered, well, what happened in London? Well, they just got even worse. What happened in California? Well, they just got even worse. And that wasn't even like a full-on socialist, just a fucking, idiot. But I mean, for fuck's sake, like, this guy is the poster child for just completely unqualified person to be ever running, but perfectly presented. He's what, like 36 or something like that, like basically my age. He's never had a real job. He's never had a real fucking job. He has no idea what goes into running a business. So that means he has no idea about tax laws. It means he has no idea about, hiring laws, all these sort of things that go into what actually creates a successful business, which creates the potential environment for excess, which can be providing for this utopia system that, he's talking about, which is just, should be very, very obvious to anyone with half of a brain, or anyone who is above the age of like 40 at least, or perhaps even 35. But yeah, man, it looks like things are going that direction, and fucking good luck, man. Good fucking luck. Anyways. Yeah, look, I can say the same thing about the other side. Look, the left side is going towards socialism. That's very, very true, on top of the rock. And the right side is definitely going towards authoritarianism, or, I mean, both of them are authoritarian at their endpoints, right? But certainly Trump is showing some tendencies like that as well. I mean, that's it is what it is. I'm certainly not arguing against that, but the left side does scare me more. I mean, if you've read history, I do think that side actually is a lot more scary, just because it's like a wolves in sheep's clothing. People really think that they're being like the nice guys in that sense, and I mean, there are no lack of historical stories from Pol Pot, from fucking Stalin and the USSR, and of course what happened in the Maoist revolution as well. I mean, Jesus Christ, man, these stories, like, if you read them, you will be screaming for the next few years about how crazy and scary this shit is. And I feel very, very strongly about that. So yeah, man. New York can just become a part of Canada. Fuck them. Perhaps yes. Perhaps yes. Yep, you're getting some political garbage today, sir. So fucking open it up and get ready, sir. Skip politics. Nah, maybe you skip this channel, sir. It's also okay for you to just, unsubscribe as well. I will always talk my opinion on all sorts of different things. I can promise you that will not stop, for better or worse. You don't have to agree with me, but of course, if that's not okay with you, you can, as always, click off of the video. You can unsubscribe. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. That is your freedom to do. Unfortunately, if we get into one of these systems, though, we may not have such freedoms in the future. That's crazy, man. Yeah, both sides are nuts. Both sides are absolutely fucking nuts, man. It is actually insane. It is actually insane. And that is probably the worst thing about all of this, is that the extremes get more extremes. There's no more middle. No more fucking middle. Anyways, sold Ethereum and bought gold. So nice to actually hold the asset. Not going to get hacked either, says Benny. Fair enough. I think you sold a shitty asset, which was good, and then you bought an asset that is probably topping for a long time, which is probably not good. But hey, fair enough. More power to you. Let's go look at some markets over here, see what gold's doing to open up this market for Monday, and then we'll check out some US traditionals as well. But yeah, gold, I'm still sticking with my top for a while call here. I don't know if this is going to be like a cycle top for gold. But I do think that is going going to be a top for a long time at least. Now, a top for a long time can reconsolidate, just like we saw earlier this year from April all the way until August, and then continue. But I do think that this is going to be a swing high for some time to come. Maybe it ends up being a macro high. There are a few things that could suggest such activities. At least the volatility reads right here on the weekly are the highest that we've seen in a very long time. So it's at least going to be a major high. Perhaps not a macro high, but yeah, definitely a major high. So, you know, if you are getting into gold, I think you are more or less buying around the top. It's probably going to come down at least another 10 to 20%, I would guess, from here. And then it's probably going to take a long time to start to move to the upside again. But hey, that's just my opinion. I, as always, reserve the right to be massively fucking wrong and hold absolutely no no responsibility towards it, because I do not hold gold myself, although I would like to at some point, but I will not be buying here. I do look at some quarterly bearish divergence developing as well. I mean, you are seeing massively lower highs on the quarterly RSI compared to the highs from many moons ago, so it's probably not going to be a humongous result, but yeah, at least good enough to get it back down to like mid 3,000s, I would imagine, at the minimum. But, you know, again, quarterly BBWP getting this high too. I mean, like the signs are fucking there, man. The signs are there. It's going to take a long time for it to do its thing because it's, you know, it's a massive market cap, like 30 trillion, but the wheels are in motion. The wheels of time are in motion. Let's go check out traditional markets, see what they're going to be opening up around. NASDAQ futures making new all-time highs upon new all-time highs upon new all-time highs. Holy shit. It's as if we have been saying for many moons now, just let the uptrend be your friend. Just let it be your very best friend because it wants to be your very best friend. It wants to be your very, very best friend if you just let it be. All you got to do is just get out of its fucking way. Crazy idea. Terra Luna, new highs when? If you hit the inverted chart, very, very soon. Crown has still not worked out. He's living in the world's most socialist country. Oh, God, you are an actual fucking idiot. Yeah, you're a fucking idiot. Okay. Yes, sir. Gotta remember to ban this guy also in Discord as well. He's a fucking moron. Anyways, yeah, traditional markets continue to go up and away. And yes, indeed, SPY futures, same shit as well. That hidden bullish divergence continues to play out. Beautiful, man. Fucking beautiful. We love it, man. We love it indeed. Let's go check out what some of the other major names are going to be opening up at for this week. Coinbase, as always, an interesting thing to be keeping an eye on, trading at 262. So a little bit of an up open to start off this week. It is starting to look like last week is going to be the next higher low on hidden bullish divergence. So I guess for traditional markets, yeah, that has to be it. I mean, that's obviously going to be led by NASDAQ and SPY. But for Bitcoin, I'm not seeing the same thing right now. Again, I would really hope to be wrong on this one, but there are still things that do suggest a correction is likely to be sideways and a little bit of down, at least from here. Lol's too sensitive. No, man, I'm just tired of hearing dumb shit like this because it's just so obviously fucking wrong, man. It's so fucking obviously wrong. And we've heard the same garbage year after year after year. At some point, you just get fed up with it and you're just like, fuck it. I don't even want to hear your dumb shit anymore. You're too fucking stupid to understand. So fuck off. Like, fuck off. That's genuinely how I feel about that kind of stuff at this point. It's just a process of getting older, you know? I just lose my, I just lose my ability to remain, to remain more calm in those instances, because just like how many fucking times can you hear the same goddamn thing be so wrong, and you lose your patience to have to actually explain it. I'll let someone else explain it, of course. You know, they're probably going to be younger, probably going to be a little bit more, you know, in that tune. So for me at this point, I'm just like, fuck it. I don't give a fuck. Just shut the fuck up, you fucking moron. That's kind of how I feel about it. Anyways, Ollie says, I'm very pullish on Bitcoin. Pullish? I don't know what that means, man. You're going to pull it up. But yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at Coinbase right here, Coinbase does want to go up. I mean, that objectively has to be the next higher low if this thing is bullish. So fair enough. Before I was looking at this as more of like a range between that 400 high and the $300 low. I wanted to see it quite closer to that range low. It got to about 310 last week. So maybe that is close enough in this case, but yeah, it's hard to see that coming back down there and still being bullish. So that's kind of my point, is that if you are bullish, especially on something like this, you kind of got to be looking for up from here. So anyways, going back to Bitcoin though, we'll get into some actual analysis right now. Why not, man? Why not? Or is there any other thing in traditional markets I want to check out? Maybe silver just really quickly, because if gold is topping, we expect silver to do the same shit as well, right? Yeah, silver doing the exact same shit right here. There should be a bull trap at some point though, but I think next move is down. Anyways, all right, let's get back to Bitcoins. The old corns. Where's my damn corns? Dude, where's my corns? Hold on. Let me bring up my notes over here. Let me take another sippy sip of this water as well. Oh, and I finally got an email that my goddamn landscaper has cut down the tree. Amazing. Fucking amazing. All right. Thank God. Hold on. I need to send another email really quickly. This is very time sensitive, actually. This tree must be removed. There was a fucking storm that came by and knocked down our damn tree. That the tree has been removed. Please proceed, sir. All right. Okay, cool. All right. Now we're ready to rock and roll. Ready to focus on the old corns here. Okay, cool. So let's start it off as always with some good old price action statistics. Daily for Bitcoin on Monday for Bitcoin is actually the most likely day to close positively out of any weekday or any day at all since this bull market began back in 2023 with just under 55.5% of all Mondays closing positively during that time. The average gain is also one of the highest, in fact, the second highest of any day of the week when it is a positive gaining day. So if there is going to be a potential for a breakout, Monday is actually one of the days for that to be happening. Now, I probably don't think it's going to happen this Monday, to be honest with you, but to the upside, that would give an area of interest for a bit of a range play, somewhere around 117,200. So if Bitcoin does spike up there intraday, I would be looking for a pullback on the first pass. I think more aggressive people are looking at this wick to the upside right here already as kind of playing off that, but I wouldn't necessarily say it just yet because that is about $1,000 away. So that's a little bit too far away, at least for me. For more aggressive people, if you did scalp that, hey, more power to you. Good trade in your favor right there, more than $1,000. But personally, I would have been a little bit more conservative on this one. On the other side, we do experience an average loss of about 1.92, which is actually the highest of any weekday or any day. Again, since the bull market began, and of course to the downside, that would give an area of interest around 112,350 or so, 112,350. So, if you do see a quick wick down around there intraday, very likely going to be a bounce on the first pass. We've seen a million of these fucking plays work out. I mean, just in the past, 2 weeks here, let alone the past few months since we've really been keeping a really, really strong eye on this. But yeah, for the intraday scalpers, once again, there are the major areas of interest for today if you are looking for those quick scalps, which perhaps you already did see that one to the upside. I mean, it does kind of look at it, but I would still want to see at least like 117 handle before I look at that one as valid. So let's now go over some of the things that happened over the weekend. I made a few Twitter posts about this. We can go a little bit more in depth on it on this video, referencing the MetaSignals post over here, which I believe fired off on the 24th. And then I made a post about this a couple days ago on the 25th. There was a MetaSignals setup that fired off on the daily time frame. It's not their most strong strategy. It is a 2-spot, which, the lower the number there is usually better, or just, better odds in my experience. But it is a higher term time frame, the daily time frame. Fired off when Bitcoin was trading about just below, like a hair below 111,000 US bucks. And of course, target number one on this one is 116. That has already been hit. That was a very, very high win rate, about 76.5%, or a little bit more than 76.5%. So that one did get hit. That also did take out that last Tuesday's high of 114, which was significant in my eyes. So I do think that Bitcoin can rally, maybe even a little bit more than what we've seen. Again, I was postulating any sort of an area between about 116 to 120 if that Tuesday high was reclaimed, which it now has. And target number two, to be fair, is just above $121,000. That does have a close to 49% strike rate to be hit, so a little bit less than a coin flip's probability, but it is, it's relevant in my opinion. So perhaps perhaps we do see a spike somewhere around about 120 or so. But as we will go over a little bit later, I do look at that as a real potential for like a real trap area if we are going to see a trap from this move. That would be like my sort of last line of defense for the bears. If they are going to really, trap this asset and force it down quite a bit. Now, target number three, very, very low probability here, but we might as well go over it. It is $144,000 and 372. So that would be significantly new all-time highs for Bitcoin, and that has a just over 21% probability to be hit. So very, 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 very low, all things considered. But yeah, it is there, and that setup is still valid. And the stop loss on that setup was a closure below about 106,000 US dollars. So fair enough. For right now, that does still seem to be at least valid, and does still seem to be, I guess, relevant, because when we go over here to the weekly time frame for Bitcoin, we do see that there is potential for hidden bullish divergence. It would be the third drive on this current strike. And if Bitcoin does basically finish this week above last week's high, which is 114,400, then yes, that will fire off, and I'll still give Bitcoin like another week to maybe spike up towards maybe 120, maybe just a little bit above 120. But like I said, as we'll go over a little bit later, I do think that this is significantly more nuanced than what I'm making it out to be right now. I also made a post over the weekend, I believe this was yesterday, about the Tether dominance chart, which does look, and this is probably the most bullish view that I can have. This is probably the most bullish narrative that I can postulate right here, is that the Tether dominance chart is once again seeming to play out this downtrend and putting in this lower high at actually even a lower level than what we've seen on the past couple lower highs, which were following the same sort of trajectory alongside that white 200 moving average. Now, it did get, quite close to there on that last spike up when Bitcoin came down on that first major move to about $100,000 on what was it, like a few Fridays ago now. But yeah, this one coming back down here, and let me actually just look at an updated chart to see what it's at right now, but I imagine it's probably even a little bit lower. Yeah, indeed it is. This is looking like, it must be the next lower high if this thing is going to be bearish, which would be bullish for Bitcoin and bullish for just cryptos in general. Although I'm not necessarily seeing this move bleed into alts. In fact, now that I look at it, most alts are even showing some red there, which is, well, I guess it's not that unexpected. So fair enough. I mean, they are fucking alts after all, right? They are all mostly going to zero anyways. But yeah, as it stands right now, there is potential, or there will even be for sure, hidden bearish divergence on the weekly RSI right here, assuming that this thing does reverse back down before the end of this next week, between this last local high right here from the 25th of June, or sorry, the 16th of June, that is, and the most recent high that it would be putting in right here. Again, still pending confirmation by the end of this week, but I suspect that the next 5-day closure, which is actually coming in tonight, will be a sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? It'll be like an advanced sort of confirmation of this, because if the 5-day closes anywhere below the last 5-day low, which is 479, so it's below that right now. Obviously, it's 4.74, so that is 5 basis points below 479. Then that will confirm this in my eyes as another local high, which would be a lower high, and this one is actually a little bit more accurately a rejection of that same white 200 simple right here, which has been holding the last few highs as well. So I do look at this as the biggest bullish sort of hopium here, that if this one does top out and if it does come back down to these lows, I mean, you have to be looking for Bitcoin to come to new all-time highs, or at least I would have to look for Bitcoin to come to new all-time highs and then throw away all sort of bearish setups that do still exist right now. So that's what really has me concerned about this current move being a bit of a fade or a bit of a fake. Maybe it gets undone on some sort of a weird news story. Like I said, there's always the next news piece. But as it stands right now, that is still very much in play. And that 5-day closes later tonight as well. So again, if it's below 479, I would say, okay, there is a real shot here. If it can rally back above 479 by end of day, then I would really be leaning heavily into what I'm about to say in a moment here. But before we get into that, let's go check out the HPDR for the weekly. I do want to also acknowledge on the weekly HPDR, we do see the median is about 120. So Bitcoin does spike up there. I would be looking for a pullback on the first pass. And the weekly HPDR is showing exactly what I believe the range to be right now as well, which is 120 to the upside versus about 108, 109 to the downside, more or less. I don't think that we're going to see above or below this range this week. If we do see above or below this range this week, I mean, that would be a very enthusiastic direction. I would think if it's going to be any direction, it'd be to the upside right now. But keep in mind that we still have one of these major setups available in the background. It's the exact same setup that we saw on the last major sort of trappy-ish move, which let me go back and show you over here. And for me, I don't want to get caught with my pants down on this one again, or not necessarily again, because we did call it out before. But fooled you once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame. Can't get fooled again. That's the good old saying goes. But yeah, my point is that if you recall back to, what was it? It was on this time frame for CME. If you recall back to this rally that we saw to new all-time highs over here in October, so early this month, that was preceded by this moving average cross that we've been referencing on this channel now many times. This was for the 2-day time frame for CME. We saw the red moving average cross to the downside of the yellow moving average, and that has initiated a minimum corrective pattern down to the green moving average. every fucking time that we've seen it in the past, well, let me actually go to the chart right here. Every time that we've seen it in the past, in the past like 8 years. So it's been basically undefeated during that time. Now, when we go back, God damn it, I've lost my damn chart again. Is it right here? There it is. Yes. Okay. And so that was one of the things that was bugging me about that rally to new highs right here, because it didn't officially test that minimum target. And yes, it really does matter when it is a minimum target, because it must literally hit at least the green moving average before being considered fulfilled. So it becomes like a magnet for price action, because at some point we know it is extremely likely to hit that moving average. And in this case, while Bitcoin did make new all-time highs, it crashed, I mean, almost instantly after hitting new all-time highs. And where does it go? It goes directly to that green 55 EMA, playing out this setup, playing out, of course, the 5-day setup over here as well. And we have the same thing going on again. In fact, even on CME now too. So the 4-day time frame setup has fired off for Bitcoin. Same interplay right here. We're looking at the 4 EMA crossing the inside of the yellow 21 EMA. And that happened on the last period, which I believe closed last week. And that green 55 EMA is all the way down at 102,500. So at some point, we do expect a move back down around there, or at least I have to expect to move down around there, because over the last 8 years, or over the full history of CME especially, this has not failed. This has not failed to get at least a minimum move back down there without any sort of major rally in between. Now, sometimes it does take some time, like we saw over here. This one took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 closures. So 6 closures on a 4-day time frame is 24 days. So that is a lot of waiting. That's nearly a month. But yeah, it still fucking happened. Yes, there was a rally in between, but again, it still fucking happened. So while this is active over here, I don't want to be caught up in the emotions of Bitcoin rallying in the short term, because ultimately we know that it's extremely likely to come back down at least to this level at some point in the future. And perhaps from there, maybe it does rally up and carry on with like a full-on, bull market rally. But for right now, I would still express some cautious skepticism of this rally, especially with Bitcoin kind of already backing down below 115. I mean, it was just getting started. Like, what the fuck's going on right here, man? Anyways, on top of this, we should also remind ourselves, or at least I want to remind myself, that all higher term time from momentum oscillators are still pointed in the same direction, and it ain't fucking up. And my general rule here is to just, whenever these things all agree with each other, don't trade in the opposite direction. As of right now, the weekly time frame potentially actually could cross the upside at the end of this week. It is currently pivoted at 115. Bitcoin is maybe like a few bucks below that. When this one does update to current price. The 2-week time frame, however, is very much angled to the downside. If we can load it, it will very obviously be showing a heavy bias to the downside. I think the current pivot price is around 120. Yeah, it's 119,200. Again, coming down from the same sort of critical areas that have called the last few major highs throughout this bull market's corrections. Going over the last 3 years, the last 3 years. And the 3-week time frame, which also just closed last night, by the way, and updated this morning, is also continuing down from that same high and critical level, and is showing a downside bias as long as Bitcoin's closing below 121,000 US dollars. So yeah, unless if Bitcoin really starts to reclaim that level before, I guess, end of month here, which is basically the end of this week, I mean, at best, I think it's just going sideways. It's hard for me to see this thing continuing with this mega rally without at least a prolonged sideways consolidation, which maybe leads towards another healthy move to the upside very late this year, very early 2026. I'm not really changing my opinion on that, or really none of this has really changed, to be honest with you. But as long as these things are all angled to the downside, and even the monthly now is as well, by the way, or at least I think it is. Hold on, for CME, it will be as of right now, but a lot can happen before end of month. Right now, it's about 116 almost, so Bitcoin's a little bit below that number. So it's not too crazy though. But yeah, if all of these things are pointed to the downside direction, it's not necessarily that I have to be like full on macro bearish, looking for Bitcoin to catapult to fucking $50,000. I mean, maybe that's possible, sure, but it wouldn't be my first target. I would still be looking for Bitcoin at least to come, at least play sideways for a while and maybe come down a little bit into the, mid or low 90s, which would still ultimately be another higher low. Keep in mind right here, the higher lows for the monthly are as follows. It was December 2022 lows when Bitcoin was at $16,500. Then again in 2023 September at 25,700. Then again in 2024 August at 55. Then again in April of this year at 80,000 or so. And then Bitcoin were to come down here as well, around end of year here, $95,000, that'd still be a higher low. It's not necessarily bearish, but I think a lot of people wouldn't necessarily be able to survive or be able to perhaps hold in their mind the nuanced concept of macro uptrend with short-term or medium-term downside. It's crazy. It's a crazy idea. Although I do see it quite often on especially social media comment sections with people just completely confused by this. But at the end of the day, that's not really who I make content for. I make content for people who, are thinking about these things in a little more of a deep way, or at least I would hope so, statistically based way, and also understanding that, things aren't necessarily black and white. And you can have bullish setups while also having bearish setups. So they just play out on different time frames. Completely fine, completely natural. And that is, that's just the way that the cookie crumbles. And that's what makes this shit so fucking interesting, because it's always a question about how is this puzzle going to end up at the end of the day. But yeah, as of right now, I would still express concerns here that while Bitcoin did have a nice move to the upside, anywhere between 116 to 120 is kind of like the kill zone for a traditional bull trap. And what really, and now I'll speak a little bit more like my mind, like my actual opinion here. So one of the things that I was speaking about last week is that I was hoping personally that Bitcoin would correct down and fulfill this setup over here first to 102 before trying any upside. Why? Because if it fulfills the setup first, then you no longer have that sort of magnetic field likely pulling you back down later at some time. At this point, with Bitcoin moving up first, it just makes me believe, or it makes me believe based off the stats here that, again, it's just, we're extremely likely to see whatever rally is currently happening fail. Whether it gets up to 116, whether it gets up to 120, I don't know. But we do know that it over, long enough period of time, perhaps even as much as a month, it's very likely going to get down to at least this green moving average, which is again around $102,500. So I don't think that there's any major rush in a position here. I don't think that there's any major rush to the upside or anything like that. I'd be very, very happy to be wrong, but at the end of the day, stats are stats, and that's that's the sort of compass that I use on this channel. So again, hopefully this was in some way helpful or useful to the people out there in the cryptocurrency world, or if you're just watching this for fun. Well, hopefully it was at least a little bit entertaining. But yeah, anyways, I shall get into the comment section right now, or perhaps better said, the super chat section. I feel like I had one of those nights last night where I got I got enough sleep, but I don't feel well slept. I don't feel right. And by the way, we actually have U.S. markets opening up now. Looks like Palantir back to the 190s. Not bad. Jesus Christ, man, that is an absolutely insane chart. It's just impossible for me to get an entry into this thing, so I won't do it. I won't chase you. Let's go to a different chart though. Let's go over perhaps here and make these a little bit easier for me to read. Okay, get rid of this one. Boom, boom, boom. All right, beautiful. All right, nice one. I didn't even need to look because I already know who's first. Mr. Steven Schickman says, GM, doggy, daily, weekly, please. I got you, man. Just one moment though. All right, so it'll be very revealing to see if the shitcoins today have been enjoying the upside similar to Bitcoin from the over the weekend pump. And what do you know? I mean, doggy coin, it's down 2.30% on the day. Bitcoin is technically still up like a fucking fraction of a percent. But yeah, when I look at doggy coin right here, I mean, getting rejected right at the worst place that you'd want to get rejected from, that 200 simple holding price action down. I mean, this is still going to maintain the overall downtrend. I still though can't get, full on bearish on this thing until doggy coin is below last Tuesday's or sorry, maybe that's Wednesday's low of what is it? 18 cents, 18.5 cents. Yeah. Price action pivot showing 18.5 cents there. If and when that does happen, then yeah, it's an easy call back down to 15 cents or so. But for right now, I'd be respecting the moving average because price action does seem to be respecting that right now. If by some act of God, doggy coin can reclaim it about 21 cents, then perhaps, you do have that rally up to 23, 24, 25 cents. But, just to see the weakness here in doggy coin with Bitcoin, already making, it made a decent move to the upside, but doggy coin not even enjoying any piece of that. In fact, having a negative day is not a good fucking sign. And I imagine we're going to see this on most of the major shitcoins today as well. Yeah, looking at the weekly here, I still think that your range overall is between 30 cents on the upside versus 15 cents on the downside. You rejected the top side of it. You're in the middle of it right now, so it's not necessarily an easy call. But if I had to call one side, it's going to be to the downside. The weekly is showing down some momentum now. The bi-weekly is... I'm curious to see what this one is. It's actually going to have a fresh cross to the downside below 21 cents. So yeah, 21 cents does seem to be a good line in the sand over these next couple of weeks. Just monitoring that number, monitoring that level. Other than that, man, it's just... My man, you could be in stonks. You could be in stonks. This could be us. Ethereum, same. You could also be in stonks as well. Though Ethereum probably a little bit better here. Also negative on the day though. Also negative on the day. Not as negative as Dogecoin, so at least not that as bad. But negative spot 31% or 30%. Not great. Not great. Did reclaim the last Tuesday high, so that that in theory should be good. Let's see, what other timeframes can we look at? 5-day timeframe right here. If the 5-day timeframe finishes today, which it will close today above that last 5-day high, which is 41.12, I guess there's some hopium here for a return back up towards 44 to 45. Maybe just spikes all the way up to 47 to this high range over here. I guess that's possible, but I don't know, man. It's gonna really depend on whatever Bitcoin does. This one's not really strong on its own, obviously. And if it finishes a day below that last 5-day high, 4100 or so, I think that's probably good a sign as any that still massive caution on this thing. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out if there's any sort of analysis that I have not already gone over with you about this thing is relevant at this moment, but I don't think I'm seeing anything. Of course, the quarterly still holds true. So it's like, if you want the bullish view on it, just go to the quarterly time frame. It's like, look, as long as you're above that early October low, fine. The second that you take that out, not fine. And it is kind of hard for me to see it actually take it out from here, at least. Is Ethereum really going to come back down below 3450, sometime this quarter? Anything's possible, right? But for me, it's just, it's kind of hard to visualize right now. But then again, you don't really need to be able to visualize and move, to be honest with you. That's just, gambler's fallacy, more or less. But yeah, as it stands right now, I don't know. It looks too perfect to me, on a retest. So it's like, I want to be biased towards that playing out. But in the short term, yeah, it is on the weaker side for sure. Other than that, I'll tell you what you probably already know. Well, no, you already know that, so we don't need to tell you again. I just don't want to get boring with it, man. Let's see. Living the Adventure says Cardano daily weekly. Sure, man. I imagine it's probably a fractal of the last few charts that we've seen. A lot more closer to doggy shitcoin than it is to Ethereum. At least Ethereum's like kind of closer to those prior all-time highs. Doggycoin and Cardano are nowhere near, unfortunately, for their sake. But I would say that Cardano coin is way better than Doggycoin in this case, just because it is holding this range on a higher low for the weekly time frame and also the monthly as well. But the range is pretty massive, right? The range is pretty massive with your lows coming in at least, somewhere close or between that 200 simple at 56 cents and this 52 cent low right here as well. Are you going to get down there first before trying to, a real bounce? It's hard to say, man. It's hard to say because of what happened a few Fridays ago on that major wick to the downside, because that technically does fulfill all of those targets, but it really does feel like, things do want to retest somewhere down around there. So I'll give you like the easy analysis in this case. If this thing does come back down below last Tuesday's low of 61 cents, yes, about 61 cents, then I would be looking for it to return to 51 to 52 cents first before anything else, and probably another bouncer. I don't think it's going to break down below this number right now, or at least if it does, that would require Bitcoin to like really break down, well below 100 at the very least, maybe even below 90. I'm not necessarily sure, but somewhere around those levels is where I kind of expect correlation there. Yeah, other than that, man, I think you're range bound at best. Again, just like Bitcoin, if you're bullish, I think you just want to hold this range for as long as possible. Meaning like the next few, okay, obviously not as long as possible, not for eternity, but for the next few months. Yeah, other than that, I don't see any like real easy calls here, to be honest, man. I guess if it can close above that last Tuesday's high of 68.5 cents, then I guess I would be looking for a rally to 75 cents. But again, it doesn't really do anything for it on the higher term timeframes, man. That's kind of the problem with this thing. So yeah, Pisa is saying, GM, Mr. Husband, what's up, man? GM, sir. XRP 4-hour daily and the 3-second chart. Probably actually rather interesting. Let's see. Let's start off high, then we'll finish low. I need to take another sip of this water. Oh man, definitely needed it this morning too. I do like this bounce off of the green 55. That is still objectively a higher low. When we go to like the monthly time frame, it doesn't really show up on a monthly time frame, to be fair as well. Let's see where are the easy calls here. Where are the easy calls? The easy calls are, hey, anywhere back down below last Tuesday's low of 233. I'd be looking for this thing to, crater back down to, $2, maybe even a little bit below $2. But until then, I mean, I guess there's a little bit of hopium here. If I'm going by the book, then looking for a lower high on this green 55 is kind of classic play, I guess. But still, I'd be going off the 5-day here, if anything. I imagine you probably have some hidden bullish evidence. Indeed, you do. So this hidden bullish evidence will be confirmed if this thing closes today, especially above about 260, and that would make me bias towards the next move being to the upside, probably back to like 290 to maybe even $3, somewhere around there. At that point, I'd be a little bit cautious again. But yeah, that'd be some decent short-term upside if that were to happen. And that closure is coming tonight in about 10 hours and 9 minutes and 48 seconds and counting. So not that long to wait for a 10-day time frame as well. I'm not really getting anything from this that's helpful, at least. And then if you really, really want the 3-second, we can go down to a 5-minute chart. I don't know, man. Probably comes back down to these lows, if anything. But I really don't have a strong opinion on this one. It's a little bit too flighty and floaty there. Anyways, we got Tom Struck next. Says, hello, sirs. Many blessings on the waiting times. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Please, for my friend, the young new Reddit trader hodling ABVEW. Okay, this is a new one, man. This is a stonk with a very long ticker. I've never seen this one. Above food ingredients warrant. All right. Well, I'm open to new things. At least in the short term, has a nice uptrend, and in the long term, it is at new all-time highs. Crazy. Crypto people don't understand what this means, but yes, indeed, there are things that are new all-time highs, and probably even looking for some more over time. Look, I do think that you're going to be having a pretty severe pullback relatively soon, probably reconnecting with like 60 to 70 cents, which is literally a fucking 50% dump from where you're at right now. I don't know if it happens from higher or if it happens from here. I think there are some good reasons to believe that it does happen sooner rather than later, because you are starting to see some bearish divergence form on the daily time frame, and you're seeing extremes on volatility. So this is a good place, at least for like some sideways action to evolve from. I would just be aware that, at some point you're very likely to see another return back down somewhere between 50 to 70 cents in that pocket there. And should be a big bounce from there as well. So yeah, it's always with stocks like this that are, rallying to the moon and beyond that people get very, very interested in, just like cryptos, right? Just like cryptos. But keep in mind that the real chart looks like this. And this is a parabolic blow off top in the making. Absolutely no doubt about it at all whatsoever. So at some point, yeah, I do look forward to have, 40 to 60% correction, something like that, man. Where is Rye says, now that you're married, do you feel more or less gay? Definitely more gay at this point. It's like the dildos are going inside of me and in my bunghole and outside of my mouth hole at every second of the hour. So yeah, man, feels good though, I will say. Anyways, Arms, this is your call to get married. Find a nice L screen and get married. Arms Private says, in your opinion, do we most likely reject from 118 to 120 area if we reach there? Either there or maybe even we've already seen it at 116, but I would still be open-minded towards an extension of the current move to 118 to 120. I think that'd also be some fib targets here as well from last week's video. Sorry, I already have it in there. Yeah, that would be between the 50% level and the 618 level right here. So, fair enough. Yeah, I think it's definitely possible. I guess the actionable way for looking at that is just closing back above that swing high from the 12th of October at 116 and $55 actually. But yeah, I do think that it will be at least a pullback on the first pass, and personally, I think that would be the perfect place to have a bull trap from and bring you back down, at least to fulfill that moving average setup that we went over earlier, something like that, man. Arms Private is back. He's asking us currently what active setups do we have? Whether it's, I think we already went over that, so all good there. But yeah, the CME 3 and 4 day are still active. Spots 5 day is still active. So again, it's like I'm not going to go against those. I'm not going to go against those. I always want to keep this channel grounded and state, hey, maybe there is some long-term upside, but it very likely would follow after first fulfilling that condition. If we're talking about like any real consistent and like massive breakout that's going to actually hold its breakout. That's kind of what I mean. Tom Struct is back. He's looking at ABVE. Okay, is this a new one now? ABVE. Okay, so this is related to the last one that you were looking at, but different, I think. Interesting. Yeah, much different chart as well, to be fair. This one is not at new all-time highs. I do think that you're going to be finding a major top somewhere around $7, if not already. I mean, it did get up to like $6.50. So I think that you're probably pretty deep into whatever rally that you're currently in. But if I had to call it, I actually do think that it spikes up maybe one more time, you know, into that $7 territory. I think it's possible. But yeah, somewhere around low sevens is kind of where I'd be looking for. Maybe even as much as like 8.25 and fulfill this gap like officially, but anywhere in that pocket there is kind of where I'd be like, okay, I'd be a little bit cautious in this region. But yeah, if you're asking my opinion in the short term, I actually do think that there is one more drive here. There is hidden bullish divergence after all, and you know, volatility is not crazy right now. In fact, it's actually had a nice little cooling off period, and it did put in another higher low. So I'd still be biased towards this thing trying one more move to the upside, actually. Yeah, not bad, man. It looks like those Reddit tips are paying off, perhaps. Fair enough. Could you explain warrants possible? I can't, because I don't fucking know. It's my first time seeing something like that, man. That's above my head, to be honest with you. Addison Phillips says, CORZ, NASDAQ, please, medium long term. No problem, man. No problem indeed. CORZ. Wow, dyslexia is real. There's warrants on this thing too. I don't know what the fuck that is. That's above my head. Am I even a real investor? Perhaps not. Daily time frame, hidden bullish evidence here. I'd be biased towards this thing, you know, spiking back up towards last week's highs, or maybe it's last week's highs. Maybe it's, I don't know, like 10 days ago. 20.25, maybe new highs on the rally. And this would also be new all-time highs. So yeah, just sign it up to new all-time highs. This is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. Monthly, gonna probably close on new all-time highs. Just needs to not shit the bed before the end of this week here. Yeah. Traditional market's a lot easier to be bullish on things. As usual, as usual, but yeah, only bearish if it comes back down below last Thursday's low of 16.91. Again, the price action pivot right here. I think it's getting that thing very, very well. Starcadia says, just want to thank you for all the years, Crown. Dude, it's all good, man. All good. I appreciate that. More power to you, man. And thank you for the nice positive message, sir. Bellstone 8. Jesus Christ, man. Massive super chat. Thank you for that, man. That is very, 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 very that is a lot, man. That is a lot. But thank you for that, man. What's good, Crown? I'm a little late. All good, man. Congrats to you and Elsa. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We really do appreciate it. So happy for the both of you, and glad y'all are fine living down here in Florida. I mean, we're still kind of checking places out, but we do love Florida, man. We really do. Florida has a lot of things to love about it, man. We went to this we went on a kayaking tour recently in the middle of nowhere, Florida, and it was just so fucking beautiful, man. Everywhere is so lush. It's such like tropical vibes. It really is picturesque, man. It's just amazing. It's just fucking amazing. And I mean, right now in October, when the weather is like this, coming from fucking Finland, holy shit, man. This place is like heaven, man. I'll put it that way. It's amazing, man. But again, thank you. That was very generous. That's the word that I'm looking for. It was very, very generous of you. And sincere appreciation, sir. Tokyo Channel, what's up, man? Holy shit, it's been a long time. Tokyo Channel's been here since many moons, like 5 or 6 years now. Oh, snap, a live stream. Oh, balls. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. I remember when that was like a saying. Oh, snap. Where did that even come from? Was it like Scary Movie or some shit? Oh, snap! You have to do the black scent as well. Oh, snap! Oh, shit! I heard some black scent this morning as well. This lady was fucking yelling. So I was like, lady, calm down. Like, it's not that bad. It's fucking 7 in the morning. It's okay. She's like, oh, snap! Something like that. Don't know what she was mad about, though. Didn't want to ask. Anyways, Goldfish says, tell me about my coin Neural, 2 weeks to the month. How about a ticker, sir? Neural, I'm sure that there's a million of these things, like pretty common. I don't know if you're talking about like a real stock, like a real company, or if you're talking about some sort of random shitcoin. Probably is a random shitcoin, to be fair. So I'm gonna be biased towards this. Oh, amazing. Oh, snap! It's going down. What do I do? Oh, snap! It ain't going up. I'm broke. Oh, snap. My coins, my tokens, I broke it. Oh, snap. It's been going only down. It's great, man. Double down, triple down, leverage. You leverage your fucking leverage. Tell me about my coin Destra, 2 weeks to a month. What's up, Fibbo? Oh, snap! Fibbo's here. What's up, man? Good to see you. Destro, let's... Oh, snap! It's even worse than the last one. It's pretty bad, dude. pretty fucking bad. And before anyone says that Blackson is racist, then fuck you, because it's not. And then you have to explain to me why. Oh, mate, we're going to put some shrimps on the barbie, mate. Why is that not racist, huh? Why is that not racist? Or we could do English accent. Hey, mate, you like tea or something? It sounds just like Australians, which is even more racist. It's like they don't have their own cultures, you know? That's really, really bad, too. But yeah, as far as being racist, I would love to be racist primarily to shitcoins because this is fucking garbage, as was the last chart. This chart looks like a bad. It looks like it has too much water in it. Maybe we take a Tusana. Wow, yeah, man, you picked the 2 worst charts of the day so far, so you win the award. Look, there's going to be bounces along the way, as there are, but it's all on a long-term trend towards zero, sir. It's all on a long-term trend towards zero. The question is, would you like to lose money slow or fast? And I think the other one's going to lose it faster than this one, but this one's also going to lose it, so... You know, if we fast forward another year from now, I would expect it to be lower, sir. We are literally looking at a fucking bull market. This was what blows my mind, is people who fall into these fucking traps. And to be fair, I mean, you know, if you're new to the game, you just don't even know. But if you're not new to the game, then shame on you because you're a fucking retard. And you haven't learned the one true lesson of this market, which is if the regular market is making new all-time highs and your shitcoin is not making new all-time highs, and God forbid it's not just not making new all-time highs, but making new lower highs and lower lows, then it is fucking garbage and deserves to be holocausted. Put them all in there. All these fucking gigantic shitcoins. It blows my mind that people still fall for this shit. There's so much overwhelming evidence. But then again, people still fall for fucking communism. So despite the overwhelming evidence for communism, people still fall for that shit. And despite the overwhelming evidence for shitcoins being absolutely fucking garbage, retarded shit, they still fall for it as well. There really is no hope. There really is no hope. Holy shit. There's really no hope. Oh, God. Oh, God. What's up, Chris Fella? ZEC Outlook. A lot of hype with this right now. Yeah. Actually looked at this one over the weekend. It was pretty interesting. This one is a shitcoin that's actually making, it's not making new all-time highs, but it's making new highs on the rally, so it's at least better than the last few ones that we've seen. I do think that you are going to be coming into a local high relatively soon, kind of right around here. If you see these highs from May of 2021 and then the swing high here from May of 2018, well, it's always in May. You know, I generally look at areas like that as likely to be getting at least a pullback on the first pass. I'm not saying that it has to like top there or anything like that. I mean, you know, be respectful of the move right now. It's been only like, you know, a 7x move from the lows in the past few weeks. So it's definitely, you know, sustainable. But I mean, it could put in this local high right here, trade sideways for a while, and then continue up. I mean, this is not like, I'm not going to hate something that did make a monthly higher high, or has it? Hold on, 371 high versus 374 high. Yeah, it is a higher high on the monthly. So I do think that it can trade a little bit sideways and down from here. I actually do think that there is a chance for this one to pull through. Then again, you know, it is a shitcoin at the end of the day, and all of these things, it's just better to be betting on them failing over a long enough period of time. So perhaps I'm breaking my own rule here. Perhaps I am the redact as well. Maybe there's no hope for me too. Fuck, there is no hope for me. Oh God, it's all wrecked. Having a crisis. Oh snap! It's going up. Yeah, looks a lot better on the log chart. I don't know, man. If it does break this high, I'd probably be looking for it to get somewhere back to those Jan 2018 highs, which is actually like significantly higher than where it's at right now. You know, that's like $700 to $800. But I don't know, man. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. I need to see that quarterly close above this high. But yeah, it is there, man. It is there. And to be fair, on the daily, like this is continuation. Hidden bullish divergence. Yes, volatility is very, very hot. So I don't know how much more continuation you're going to get, but there is a measured move to be made off of what would be an ascending triangle right here. Let's see. I'm not going to do it perfectly because I got my magnets on my magnets. But God damn it. It's like something like here. I don't know, like 420. Great number as well. So yeah, let's just say 420. 400. It's a little bit above 400. Danny4448 says, Sui, one day, what is required to confirm a reversal? Well, first, let's analysize what sort of a trend it's in, because I'm not sure if you're talking about an upside reversal or downside reversal, to be honest with you. Let's see. So this one's in a downtrend, so you're very likely referring to an upside reversal. So what would we need? We need, if you want to go by the book, which I actually do think is best, especially when talking about shitcoins, is we want to see both of a higher high and a higher low in this case. And right now you have neither. You still have same highs right here. It could, I mean, theoretically could push through today if it closes above what, like 270 and be a little bit of a higher high. It's not very convincing to me, but yeah, it would be in there. This chart again looks very similar to Dogecoin, looks very similar to Cardano coin, looks very similar to Litecoin in the short term with this sort of corrective pattern down here. But if it does close above this high, yeah, then at least you have a higher high in place. You still don't have a higher low, but the bias would be for it to continue in a little bit more. And then when it pulls back, hopefully for your sake, could put in a higher low. Anything above about 235 would do it right there. Sorry, 234 going off the price action pivot right here. At the end of the day, though, man, I don't think that it's even worth looking at these things if Bitcoin's not, legitimately continuing to the upside, like in my opinion, well above 120,000 bucks. I just don't think that these things are going to move in any sort of appreciable factor, because what you're very likely asking is, when does SUI go back up to $5 and beyond? When does it make new all-time highs? And this chart right here, I still think is done for a long time. I think you're range bound at best for a long time. Your highs are at 4.25. Your lows are at like $2 basically. I think that you might dig into these lows again a few more times and then probably bounce from there. But, I'm just not bullish on these things, man. I'm just not bullish on these things. This thing had its early cycle blow off top. And it just hasn't really done anything since then. So it's not a good sign in my opinion. At least the good things are moving to the upside right now. That's always a way to judge it. Relative strength really does matter in my experience. But yeah, if you're just talking about a reversal, I'd want to see first a higher high, and then after it pulls back, after making that new high, just needs to pull back into a higher low that's higher than 234. That would effectively confirm a reversal. But if you're asking my opinion on it, I don't think that that's what's happening here. But hey, my opinion doesn't really matter on that one. It's not like I'm fucking watching SUI like a hawk. I just think of it as like, your average shitcoin is, I don't know, it's probably just going to do fuck all. If it does go to the upside, I do think that you are more or less capped here in the short term around like 330, maybe 3.5 at best. But yeah, that's just my opinion, man. Chris Fella says, MicroStrategy, please, daily, weekly. Let's see. Has my corrective target for MicroStrategy been hit? Yes or no? I need to know now. Give me information now. I have 276 right here. Where was my target? My target was I think it was 270. It's pretty fucking close, man. I don't know. If we're on the daily and the weekly, it looks a lot like those shitcoins in the short term, with it kind of hanging on to these lows for dear life. I don't know. Do I think that has bottomed out just yet? Do I think that this is going to be the low and it reverses from here? There is actually good reason to believe there is like actual potential here. You basically hit my target to the downside on the monthly. So, $6 away, that's fine on a $300 number. Multiple drives of bullish divergence on the daily time frame. Good. Okay. So that really could be reversal. The weekly does not have any sort of divergences relevant for the BULAs here. So that'd be a strike against it, because we preferably want to see that on a weekly. Maybe the 5-day will be a little better to it. No. Yeah. Here's the way that I look at MicroStrategy. As long as you are basically playing off of the monthly 21 EMA, which was kind of giving my 270 target. It's technically right now like 265, 266. As long as you're above that, it does look like a pretty technical higher low compared to your low from March of this year. And that would still have me at a bullish bias, because you still got same highs over here with higher lows. It's an ascending triangle. So, have to favor overall upside. But if this thing really does start to trade significantly below like 260, let's say, and get close to these lows, that's going to look pretty ugly in my eyes. But for right now, I still think that there's hopium here. I still think that, it could pull through. Yeah, if anything, if I want the hopium, I want to be going down to the daily time frame. And if it can trade back above last week's swing high from last Monday at 306, I do think that you're in for a rally to like 330. That's not bad. It still doesn't really flip your trend or anything like that. It's a pretty significant high that we saw here in early October. So as long as you're below there, there is going to be a lot of questions, but I don't know, maybe that's tradable for you. Maybe it's not. I mean, it's a pretty decent move, $30 move on a $300 number. So that's 10% almost, or it is 10%. So yeah, something like that, man. I'll get to the regular comments now. I think I've worked my way through all of the super chats. Just one moment while I take a sip of this water though. Smoking a bowl before hitting the gym. Holy shit, man. I've tried that in the past before. It doesn't go that well, actually. But hey, more power to you, man, if it's going well for you. Let's see. Chris Vella's asking about Zen on the daily. Okay, so Zen, I think the idea here is that people are looking for this one to play with Zcash, and it is nowhere near it. Yeah, so again, man, this is why, like, I think these narrative games are just a big fucking fallacy. Do I think it's going to top out here, or do I think it does try higher? I really don't know, actually, because it really would not take too much to get this thing to try and move towards like 20 or even like $22. I actually do think that. At the same time, I mean, it is a down only chart, and you did just have a pretty explosive move. So it's like, this is kind of as good a place as any to put in another lower high. You know, it is on a weekly 200 simple moving average right now. So as long as you're being held by that, I think that there is good reason to believe that this could be a rejection right here, but it's not going to be confirmed until you're back down below last week's low, which is $10.50. So it's got a lot of work to do right there. But yeah, it's still possible. And I do think at some point this week, you'll at least hit 12.25. So it's really a tale of, of two things here. If it can start to really close back above last week's high of 14.25, I would think that, okay, yeah, this thing actually is gearing up for a run into the low 20s, maybe somewhere between $20 to $25 even, okay, 24, something like that would be possible. But as long as it's kind of dancing around this 200 simple and, seemingly getting rejected by it, but it's too early to say it's a rejection fully, I'd be saying, hey, objectively, this is a good place for another lower high. That's exactly where your last weekly high was put in over here on a closing basis as well. So, yeah, man. I don't think it's going to pull a Zcash, though. A Zcash. Let's see. All right, what else do we have here? Let me just scroll up a little bit, see what sort of shits we got. Jasper Skeleton. You know who we were watching last night is Skeletor, who Elsa calls Skeleton. Why do you sound like Skeleton? No, it's Skeletor, Elsa. Oh, no, okay, Elsa sounds like Skeleton because she goes, what? It's like all the fucking time. What? I mean, that's literally how he sounds like. What? Anyways. Smoking before the gym, you must be under 30. That is an under 30 thing to do, ASST. That is an under 30 thing to do for sure. But I will say, cardio or like running does seem to be pretty meditative. I think that's the word I'm trying to say. Anyways, we'll get to Jasper. Sorry, man. Could you look at normal stock? Okay, normal stock Rheinmetall. Okay, RHM. Nice. You threw me for a loop there. It's like, is this a stock called normal? No, it's just a normal stock. Rheinmetall on daily and weekly. Okay, yes, this is a defense technology stock, maybe the best or among the best ones in Europe. But I do think that you are in a corrective phase here, kind of a similar chart to Bitcoin in some ways, but similar to Bitcoin. I actually do think it's more likely to correct down here, man. This is a lower high, and I'm not necessarily bearish on this chart long term. Like, obviously, this is a good chart long term. It's exploded in recent times as well. But I do think that you're in a corrective period here. You're probably going to come down, hopefully make a higher low than whatever this 1479 low was right there, or 1481 according to the price action pivot, and then bounce from there. I'd be looking for something like that. That would be the bullish view. Obviously, the bearish view is that you just go down, but I do think that you are in a corrective period, even though long term actually would be bullish on this. But yeah, when I look at it on the monthly right here, hey, let me blow it up. There is good reason to believe that this correction will last a long time. Monthly has bearish divergence, and we do see extremes on the monthly volatility indicator. So I think that you're in for, a multi-month, maybe even like year-long consolidation, probably some sideways and downside in there, man, as you work off of these extreme conditions. Tentatively, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing come down to like 1,200, to be honest with you, during that correction. But long-term, I actually still think it's pretty fucking good. I genuinely do think that. But yeah, I mean, again, this thing went up from like fucking $200 to almost $2,000. That took about 3 years. So fair enough. We're all in the wrong markets there. Let's see. Imagine believing private Bitcoin is a shitcoin. Yes, indeed it is, according to the chart, sir. If you don't believe me, feel free to hold it. And in fact, I don't think that you should just hold it. I think that you should buy it on leverage with as much money as you possibly could get. Take on some loans, max out your credit cards, go all in, sir, because you really believe that the private Bitcoin is the best thing of all time because Bitcoin needs to be private. And you've actually found the private Bitcoin, which is literally called Zen. It's literally called Zen. They named it fucking Zen. Like, sir, holy shit, man. It's sad. It's sad. The amount of soldiers lost in the shitcoin roulette. I would be happy to do that, Mr. Krona, but unfortunately, I do not have my soundboard computer with me. Although soon enough, it is coming back. It is coming back. You forgot Litecoin? I mean, I'd prefer not to look at Litecoin unless if absolutely must. It's the same shit as all these other things, man. It's really not any different. DA says IREN. Yeah, let's look at IREN. This one's been doing something interesting as of late. And what do you know? Making new. See, this is what. Does this one have privacy features? Is this a private coin? Because it's going up, and I was told privacy coins go up because privacy is what you need, right? I hate to break it to you, but in the year 2025, none of us have privacy. None of us have privacy. The fucking birds outside are CIA spies, okay? You don't have fucking privacy. All of your emails, they can all be read. You don't have any real privacy. All of your bank account shit. If you get into trouble, believe me, it's not fucking private. God damn, man. Anyways, as far as IREN goes, I like the hidden bullish evidence. I would continue to look for this one to actually pop back up somewhere around these highs at 73, 74 bucks. Look, I think that you're in the midst of a parabolic blow off top rally, but if I had to call it right now, I do think that, or at least I'd be biased towards this thing making at least one new high. Yeah, I'd be biased towards it making at least one new high, but I will be massively fucking wrong. I will be massively fucking wrong, okay? Like so unbelievably wrong if this thing does come back down below last Wednesday's low, because that would confirm this, in my opinion, as a massive bull trap, and that would be the end of your parabolic blow off top. But until that happens, it's always best to be betting on continuation until proven otherwise, because you just never know how high these damn things can go. But yeah, below last Wednesday's low, I go literally the other option. I go 180. I do a 360 and turn the other way. No, I do a 180 and go the other way. But yeah, again, this is the definition of a parabolic blow off top. You went from $4 to fucking $70. Just insane, man. Just insane. Anyway, Straight Path says, can we please look at CLSK on the daily weekly? Sure, man. CLSK, gotcha. Clean Spark. Yeah, I remember we've looked at this one a few times. We said it was going to pop back around these highs. I believe that has now happened. Do I have a chart for this one? Yeah, there we go. There's my chart. I don't know. Is it ready to break out from here, or is it going to come back down into range again? That's a real question. I don't know. I really don't know. Usually I bet on coming back down into the range because more often things just range. But at some point, it's going to make a legitimate attempt to break out, and I do think that it will complete the breakout. You got a monthly and a quarterly higher low here, so it has a real potential reverse. And monthly's fine. I mean, on low volatility, this thing really can break out to the upside on this move. It's possible, but I don't know, man. I don't like betting on breakouts until until they're like fully proven. It's just more often than not they do range. But yeah, closing back above 23.5 bucks would do it for me. That would do it for me. Until then, does it trade sideways, maybe come back down to the middle of the range at 14.5 and then try the move? Possible, yeah. All I know is that the monthly and quarterly, these are good. These are good in my opinion. I do think that this will trade higher and probably will even get to like $30 at some point. Yeah, that would be my bias on this one. Again, I will be massively wrong on the long term, that is, if this thing comes back down below the range lows, but that's pretty far away. So yeah. We'll see on that one. Ghoulfam says, hey Crown, good morning. What's up, man? Can we please look at useless on the daily and 3-day? Oh, I'm sure it's gonna be great, man. I'm sure it's gonna be great. 3-day time frame for an asset that's been around for a few months. Oh, snap! At least it's not going down. At least it's not going down. Well, at least it's not going down on the long term. In the short term, yeah, I do think that you are in a range-bound play and just rejected the range highs. So my rule is you usually come at least to the middle of the range after that, which would be 25 cents. And if you break below 20 cents, I'd be looking for it to actually fill the wick from a few Fridays ago down here. But at least, it's not like most of these shitcoins that are already at lows or making new lows, for God's sakes. So at least it's better than those. But again, do I think that useless coin is going to pull through and be one of the long-lasting but very, very few cryptocurrencies of the world? Probably not. But hey, at least it's operating better than most of these things right now. But yeah, in the short term, I actually do think that this thing will come back down to close to the bottom side of the range. I do think that it will break down below last Tuesday's low. But if you want to go buy the book, we actually have to wait until it does officially close below about 25 cents or 25.5 cents. And then, yeah, I'd be looking for it to fill out this area down here. Maybe even carry on with its natural long-term destination. But yeah, I guess I'd get bullish on it back above this price action pivot here at 37 cents. Always have to have some line in the sand, I suppose, but I'm not necessarily biased towards that happening. I mean, when you get newer shitcoins like this, weird shit can happen for sure. So I guess there's a little bit of hopium, but I don't know, man. Would be my first pick, to be honest. Platinum Daily Weekly for ASST, sure. This one's XPT, I believe. XPT. All right. Yeah, similar to gold, I think this thing's topped for at least a little while. Short term, I think it comes back down to last week's lows, like 1480-ish region. This also looks like a weekly swing high as well. You got bearish divergence on this last high. You got extremes on volatility on the weekly time frame. Yeah, I think that this is a high for a while. Am I bearish on this thing long term? Probably not. I mean, you effectively have completed this 10-year long accumulation phase right here. So long term actually would be bullish on it, but I think that you've hit a major high within this rally and are going to spend a lot of time going sideways for a while with a big range to the downside as well. I mean, this thing come down to like 1200 and still be technically okay long term. So yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of patience here. If we fast forward like 5 years, do I think it's higher? Yeah. If we fast forward like another month or two, do I think it's kind of here or lower? Yeah. It makes it difficult, right? So it just depends on your time frame. Lucifer Incestus 666 says, hey, lovely people. Is anyone going to Bitcoin Swinging Fest in Vegas this weekend? My wife is still looking for 2 mega bulls. Wait a second. I don't think we're thinking about the same things. Fair enough. Hey, thank you for that, Daniel Welsh. Appreciate that, man. GDX, this is gold miners, right? I mean, if I think gold's topping, then probably gold miners not looking too hot. But let's see. Yeah, this looks like a quarterly high for me. And I do think it's going to come down to like $60. And yeah, this is your parabolic blow off top. Undoubtedly. I mean, when was the last time you saw extremes like this on volatility on the weekly time frame? Back in 2020 before this mega high over here. So yeah, man. I think you're going sideways and down from here. I think this thing could come down a lot, but I don't know. Am I necessarily bearish on something that just made new all-time highs, on a quarterly time frame? No, not necessarily, but I do think that you're going to spend a lot of time going sideways and down from here. Maybe even coming all the way down to like $45 to $50, and then perhaps trying some extra rally later on. But yeah, I think you're done for a while here. I was the guy that asked about the shitcoins. You reviewed the wrong neural. Well, could you please specifically list the exact ticker that you're looking for, sir? Because just saying neural, there are many things called neural, as you can see, and I'd be happy to look at it for you. Solana Daily Weekly, I got you, man. We could look at some Solana. I'm sure it's doing great as well, man, because it's the next Ethereum, right? Or what's the narrative? Is it the Chinese Ethereum? I mean, it did take out last Tuesday's high, but I don't know, these things that are already negative on the day with Bitcoin still being slightly positive, it's just not a good look. Like, it makes me think that didn't really matter. Like, Bitcoin got its move, but these shitcoins are not getting their move, which, just tells us kind of what we already know, that they're weaker. So perhaps I was being a little bit too lenient on these things. Yeah. If I'm going off of the daily, what I could say about the daily is that, look, like, if it can start to close above $200, okay, maybe it does pull through to 220 or so, and it does actually do some of significance here, but I don't know, man. I look at this as a really bad signal that this thing didn't do anything. It didn't even get close to 200. Or sorry, it didn't even get close to this last local high of 212, while Bitcoin got to 116 and change. Like, these things are weak, man. They are not following well. And when they're not following well, that's not a good sign for the broad market. User says he's a good candidate. There isn't anything sad. Learn something, like go to school. That's right, man. Zoran Mamdani is he's the second coming. We should enact everything that he does. Yeah, man. Well, you're free to welcome. You're welcome to freely move to New York City and deal with the consequences. I would prefer not to. I prefer not to. Okay, don't tell me the fucking name. Tell me the goddamn ticker, for the love of God. Ticker. I want ticker. I need ticker. Holy shit, goldfish. Oh my God, dude. The ticker, sir. The ticker. We need the ticker. Not the name. There's many things with the same name. If you give us a ticker, we can look at it. If you don't give us a ticker, we can't look at it, sir. I've already tried that. There was only one that came up, and it was not the correct one, as you said. Damn, I guess I was going to say before, I hadn't met a single person who quite literally believes that Mamdani would be like a good candidate, but this guy, user, whatever the fuck, genuinely thinks so. So I can finally say that I've actually met someone who thinks that. Great. It's sad, man. Very, very sad. Very sad. Learn something like go to school. Learn something like go to school. Sir, study history, you fucking ignorant piece of shit. Like, god damn. Holy shit. Oh, God. That one also bothers me as well. It's like, I'm just done. I'm just done with being balanced with it. It's like, there's so much evidence. There's so much evidence. At this point, it would be the same thing as saying 2 + 2 does not equal 4, which is probably something that he believes as well. I mean, for fuck's sake. Like, it really is sad. That does make me believe that, like, and this is the worst part about all of it, but the natural response to it is going to be authoritarianism on the other side to deal with the other side. So this is how extremism works, because I mean, that is going to be a natural response. I mean, fuck, I even feel it myself, even though, you know, I'd never do that because, well, one, I'm not a fucking politician, and two, like, hopefully at some point, you know, my logical brain would kick in and be like, no, you can't actually do that. That's not the right, it's not the right call. But goddamn, I can definitely understand the impulse to just immediately be like, oh, Jesus Christ, just get rid of this person. Can you chart Ma'am Danny? Swanee, god damn it. Oh, there's another guy as well. P. Gooey. Ma'am Downey will be amazing and he will win. He will win. Is he going to be amazing? That's where we probably massively disagree with each other. Look at Neural, says Goldfish. Sir, do you not understand what a ticker is? Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. Okay, it's not any one of these because I'm guessing you're talking about some random crypto shitcoin. So I'm just going to type in USD. Okay, Neural. You got to be very specific with your tickers, man. You got to give the ticker, not the name. The ticker. I'll type in the name again. Maybe it's this thing. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Really? Like, this is what you wanted me to go back to? This. Oh, snap! It's shit! And the same guy who thinks Mem Downey is going to be great wants me to look at Aster. Like, need I say more? It's the same people. It's the same, like, this is the same disease. The same fucking morons who believe in shitcoins are the same ones who vote for people like this. It's actually insane. It's actually fucking insane. Oh my God. It makes so much sense now. Wow. This is the problem with democracy, is that everyone can vote. This is why I'm convinced all liberal democracies, all democracies are doomed to fail over a long enough period of time because people are not incentivized to educate themselves. And in order for a democracy to work, everyone needs to be educated to a certain degree. What?
That is the ticker. It's that shit.
That is a ticker. It's that shit. Well, I'm glad we figured it out, Goldfish. I'm very glad we figured it out, sir. Because now I can officially say it's amazing. And I'm glad that we didn't go with the past shitcoin chart because we would have erroneously said that it was bad, but it turns out it's amazing. Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad that we found the chart. Yeah, it's great. Vote Ma'am Donnie. Vote Ma'am Donnie. Buy your neural coins and vote Ma'am Donnie. The problem is, of course, the natural problem is with democracy, if you do enact some sort of like an educational requirement, is like who's going to make the content for that educational requirement? Because obviously that's going to have some bias in some way. So there's no real way to get around it. So at some point, I guess it's authoritarianism at some level always. I guess it is what it is, man. People like Ma'am Downey, Sanders, and AOC are just advocating for what we have in Australia. UL, what the fuck is UL? New Zealand, Canada. Yeah, Canada. That's right. I can also spell these fucking dumb socialists in Western Europe. Yeah, man, I've actually lived in some of these places. They're not great. They're really not great. I think instead of the UL, you mean UK. Look, man. Hell no, man. Hell no. Like, we don't want to be like that. We don't want to be like that. Like, that's my point, man. We don't want to be like the UK. We don't want to be like Canada, which fucking froze people's bank accounts when they disagree with the political people in charge. We don't want to be like Western Europe, which is imploding with extreme amounts of debt and no way to increase productivity, like France, like Finland, like all of the Nordic countries, like who else? I think Netherlands pretty fucked as well, but maybe not as fucked as the other ones. Like Spain. Spain's fucked as well. I mean, for fuck's sake, man, like you're proving my point. Why we don't want to be like that. We don't want to be. We actually have a chance here in America to maybe, by some act of God, pull through. It's even not looking great for America right now, but at least there is a glimmer of hopium. In Europe, there's it. To me, it really does seem like it's all doomium. It really does seem to me like it's all doomium. Yeah, if you like countries that have no economic growth, be my guest, man. But I can tell you, it's not fucking fun living there. Like, it's really not. Look, people love to say that Finland is like the happiest place on earth, man. All that I found in Finland from Finns was despair. It's fucking despair, man. And they have all the access to all the social services and everything, man. I can say this like from direct firsthand experience. Meeting people of all different walks of life. I mean, it doesn't really matter who you meet there because everyone basically lives about the same life. Like there really is no rich people nor like super, super poor people. Everyone's just like at the same level of unhappiness and shittiness. And there is general despair, man. And the younger people, because I actually had a lot of interaction with younger people through like my, when I was boxing training and whatnot, because a lot of people there would be, you know, in their teens and early 20s. And they like ambition is not a thing. Like they don't have ambitions. It's crazy. It's totally crazy to me that these people, like I mean, again, maybe I just met only those people, you know, it's possible. Like obviously I didn't meet everyone, but it really did seem like the outlook is so fucking bleak, man, especially for young people. It was really sad. It was like truly sad. It was truly sad, to be honest. Yeah. Creighton C says, K comes before L. It's an alphabet thing. Don't worry about it. You're doing great. Ambition is capped. I mean, it did feel like that. Again, look, I didn't meet everyone there, so of course there's going to be some variance, blah, 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 blah. But that's just what I gathered from that, man. That's what I gathered from it. I would not be a good president. I would be, look, I know that if I got the ring of power, I would abuse it. So I don't want it. I don't fucking want it because I would be the first person to abuse it. Maybe not the first person, but I would abuse it given enough time for sure. We all do. We all do. It is what it is, man. Duncan Mize. I mean, there was certainly a little bit of that for sure, man. There was certainly a little bit of that, but I don't know, man. I feel like we've hazed them out of this community at this point, so it's not so much of a concern as it was maybe like a year ago. Why learn to eat when your mommy still feeds you? Yeah, I mean there is a lot of that. There is a lot of that. It was the same living in Japan. Fair enough. I don't have any experience with Japan myself. how do you educate those who politically oppose higher education? Nobody makes you a liberal in college. Maybe go and you'll find out. I actually went to college in University of Oregon, and they actually do kind of force you to be liberal. I can tell you from direct firsthand experience. I wasn't even political at that age. Like, I didn't even really know anything about politics. But I remember I was in a writing class, and we were having a discussion about something, and I said something that was like moderately right leaning, and from that moment on, man, that teacher was just on my case, and people in the class like knew. They would. I remember one time this guy pulled me aside. He's like, "That teacher really hates you." I'm like, I didn't even recognize it as well. I'm like, really? But anyways, it doesn't really matter. I mean, just fucking miserable probably. But yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Anyways, I don't even think higher education is educating you to begin with. To be honest with you, man, I think real education these days has to be done at an individual level. You have to be motivated to do it yourself because all the information is available to you. You don't need to go to fucking college. You don't need to go to higher education to do that. And in fact, I think going to higher education is a sign in many cases of unintelligence, because why are you doing it? You're saddling yourself up with insane amounts of debt with no guaranteed prospect of creating more income after that. And in many cases, I mean, you just get stupider. Like, you just get inundated by these completely ridiculous beliefs, learning from professors who have never once done professionally the line of work that they are now teaching, which is absurd to me. I mean, looking back on it, look, I studied business and I studied economics, and I can tell you, after, being a trader and investor, and after now running my own business for, 6-7 years, all of that stuff was, I mean, maybe like 5% of it was useful, and the rest of it was just like, what the fuck am I learning here? This is not relevant at all. And if I apply this stuff, I probably would hurt my business, if anything. Anyways, Glenn Wong says, sir, ASST stonk, any time frame, 80K next. I don't know. Let's see. All right, so this is Strive stonk. 80K next. It's going to 80K next, sir. Oh, snap. I mean, obviously, I think that this one's a joke one, but is it going to 80? It's never at $80. Yeah, man. It looks like your traditional shitcoin chart, to be fair. So the problem with these things is what I always say. It's like, look, you might get these one-off pumps here and there. Like, they do happen. I think that's what pulls people in and makes them believe in this shit. But naturally, they all fail. By the time that you start to get alerted to the pumps, you're already at the tail end of it, if not already over. My dad was a PhD academic historian. He, like all of his colleagues, was a full-blown Marxist. I'm not surprised, man. I'm not surprised. But historians should know better. They should know better. But then again, I mean, the infiltration of socialism into the education system has been it's been so successful, to be honest, that I guess it's not that surprising. But yeah, if you do study history, I don't necessarily like to study history as much as I like to listen to people who actually experienced it firsthand. That's what I love listening to. And there is no shortage of people who, especially escaped, Soviet Union countries, talking all sorts of things. I mean, there's books written about it from firsthand experience. It's just, it's truly insane. It's truly insane when you look into it. Like, I think anyone who studies that stuff, even for like a month, is going to come out of it like screaming their head off, trying to warn everyone else. It's really crazy, man. Benny Crypto says Plan B was right. Ethereum really is going to for 5K this month. I take it all back. Fair enough. You changed your opinion real fast on that one. Fair enough, though. Hey, if you see something different and that's what you believe, then that's what you believe. All good, man. Jeff B says Europe is fucked because people voted for socialism way too long. Yeah, I mean, that's probably a part of it. But I actually heard another theory recently that made a lot of sense to me as well. And when was this? I think it was... Okay, yeah, so around the 2000s, I think this was after the 2008 crash. Hold on, I need to make sure that I get my timelines right, because if I'm wrong on this, it'll be embarrassing. Yeah, okay, I need to research this one again, because I don't remember if it was from 2008 or if it was from 1980, and these are two massively different things. I'm pretty sure it was from 2008, though. Oh, man. I want to say it, but I don't want to say it, because I don't want to be wrong. My parents escaped Uzbekistan in 1990. Man, my fucking boxing trainer was from Uzbekistan, and he would tell me about it. He did not. He couldn't speak much English, but he didn't have very nice things to say about Uzbekistan, from what I can tell you. Who writes histories? The winners, for the most part, yeah. But at the same time, you're still going to be able to get firsthand accounts from people who actually experience history. So that's why I think that that's very, very valuable, man. Colorado Dog King says, I escaped America because Trump is a clown. Fair enough. You're entitled to your opinion, and hey, more power to you if you move away because you don't like what was going on. Like, I don't have any problem with that, man. Yeah, where'd you go, to Canada? Jeff B says Trump is one of the best post-World War II presidents the U.S. has ever had. I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to turn this like full on political as well, but there's a lot of things that Trump has done that I agree with, but there are some things that Trump has done and is doing that I significantly disagree with, and I absolutely see what the leftists believe, which is he is an authoritarian. I can definitely see that as well. But again, if you read through history, the people who are generally considered like the greatest leaders of all time are generally considered, or not generally considered, like they quite literally are authoritarians. So it's like, I don't know what's like the correct balance of that, and is Trump walking that line? I don't know. But I can definitely understand the pushback. I can definitely understand the pushback. I don't know if I'd call Trump a clown, though. He doesn't really seem like a clown to me. He seems like a, generally successful businessman. So at least give him that respect, man. But like, I don't go around calling fucking Bernie Sanders a clown. I think that some of his views are silly, and I disagree with them. But I don't think he's a clown. Just think, he's a different experience of life which led him to his beliefs, and that's probably why anyone has any disagreement with anyone in the world ever. He just had a different experience of life. It is what it is. It is what it is. What was Biden? I mean, Biden. Look, like we all know that Biden wasn't even really the president when he was president, right? Like, but then again, I mean, look, the system continued on even with Biden being at the helm, not really doing anything. So that's kind of a good. It's kind of a good indication that the system's pretty fucking robust. Like when you have someone like that, and still we had new ultimates in the stock market. America's, its power was waning, sure, but still, it was okay. could have been worse. Could have been worse. He is just misguided. Could be, yeah. Very hard to change the Constitution, so there's always checks and balances. Yeah, I mean, that is the one glowing factor, or one of the glowing factors of America, yeah. It really does impress me the older that I get how insightful the founding fathers were. I mean, shit, man, when you read some of their quotes, like these guys were real badasses for the time, Biden was UNC. What's UNC? Dude, I miss him for the gram. I mean, look, I miss him. I thought Biden was actually funnier than Trump, but he wasn't trying to be funny. Okay, honestly, like near the end of Biden's presidency, where he was doing this press conference in front of a forest, and he ends the press conference and then like slowly waddles and wanders off, and like as like a senior citizen into the forest. It was so beautiful. I was like, and now they're releasing him back into the wild, and now he gets to live out the rest of his life. I don't know, man. It's just fucking funny. It was just fucking funny. I'm looking for non-political comments now. Like, give me a fucking chart to look at. Wait, what? Oh, snap. Oh my God. My fucking web page right now. You guys have to see this. Literally says all snap. I'm not even joking. I'm not even fucking joking. Can I put this on right here? Yes, it's right there. Look. That's what happened to my live streaming service. It says, "Oh snap!" What the fuck is this simulation, man? How is that possible? Explain this. Oh snap! The Ruba present, yeah, something like that. Yeah, I would be wary of Trump normalizing using the military against his own people. Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. I really don't. Like I said, I can see some things that are that can definitely become very problematic. Absolutely. But still, would I vote for Trump or would I vote for Kamala? She's, my dyslexia is just destroying me today. I would still vote for Trump over Kamala if those are the two ones. how do we get Crown to come out and visit us? I'm a person in the world. You can just come find me, dude. Come say hello. Like, plenty of people have met me at this point, and I'm always down to like chat for a little bit. Patrick says, Crown, please ask people to go in and report at least one crypto scam video on YouTube. They are starting to pick up. It's an impossible task, man. I don't think it's worth anyone's time, to be honest with you, because as soon as you take down one, another 10 come up, you know, in its ashes, man. All right, let's look at some damn charts. Neural Fit Rehab says GLDW. GLDW. This is some sort of gold related thing, I'm guessing. Wisdom Core Physical Gold. Okay. Well, if I think gold spot is topping out, then this thing's probably topping out as well. And I would say this thing's topping out. At least a swing high here, man. I think it's going to come down to like 27, whatever that number is. Again, you got extremes here on volatility, so very similar to this one over here. I think that you're going to be correcting for a while. Probably at least come down to that 21 EMA as well. So, you know, it's going to take its time. It's going to take its time. All right, let's take another sip of this. Teo Frank says, hello and good day. What's up, man? Maybe you've already talked about it, but if you haven't, where do you think Bitcoin is bottoming in next bear market? That's a really good question, man. It depends where it tops out first, but let's just play like a hypothetical what if game. Let's say that this is the top right here, 126,000 US dollars for Bitcoin. Where would I think the bottom is at that point? Somewhere around 50,000 with like a $10,000 range in that. So somewhere between 40 to 60,000 bucks. I think whatever pullback we do get from the all-time high is going to be significantly less than the last bear market high to low. And the last bear market high to low was, I think, 75%. No, 77.5%. So I think it's going to be significantly less than that. But yeah, that'd be kind of like my general area. And if Bitcoin got down somewhere around like 50 or 60,000 bucks, I'd be happy to bid a lot anyways. PB Blitz says TRAC ordinals on the weekly. Okay, cool. Thank you for specifying the ticker. We've had some issues with this during this stream. To be fair, I'm having a pretty decent rally right there. But is this like the one-off rally that shitcoins typically enjoy near the end of moves? I mean, probably yes. You got many drives of bearish divergence going on here. You got significant levels of volatility. So I'm inclined to say that this probably is your next major high. You do not have hidden bearish divergence, so at least there's that, I guess. But yeah, man, I'm not gonna like this one. I think that this place is as good as any to put in another major high, and I'm sure if we draw one of these diagonals, you're kind of coming in around that same trend line there. So I think at best, you know, you're trading a little bit sideways and some downside from here. At worst, you know, you're coming back down to these lows. I don't think that this is going to be the move that brings it back up, you know, to $1 plus, but I'd be happy to be wrong on this. There actually is some things that are in your favor here that could very easily prove me wrong. And it would be like big time wrong as well, because there is hidden bullish evidence on the quarterly time frame. Of course, it's a long quarter left to go, but you know, if you do end the quarter above, you know, 75 cents, I think you could easily go to like $1.25 to $1.50. I mean, that would actually look quite good. But for right now, I'm more inclined to say this is probably going to be a major swing high right here than anything else. So yeah. I mean, to be fair, we have been talking a little bit about politics today, so I have brought it on myself today, and that's probably just due to my, I don't know. Again, I got enough sleep last night, but I just don't feel like I am well rested today. So I don't know, something went wrong. When things go wrong, I speak out of turn about politics, and whenever you speak about politics, then well, of course the crazies come out the woodworks on that shit. So I did this to myself today. I have no one else to blame besides myself. It is what it is. It is what it is. Vans Schusterin says, please chart 4PAL. 4PAL. Okay, this is a new one. 4PAL. Not a ticker, sir. McDonald's House says, good day, sir. Could you please try ZEC? We've actually already looked at this one a couple of times, but we can go back to it just to see these specific time frames. I do think that this one's continuing from here. I do think that the high is not necessarily in just yet. I do think it's coming relatively soon, but hidden bullish evidence on the last couple of lows right here, breaking a new highs freshly. So I think that this one still has maybe one more drive, like a little bit higher. I think maybe it gets to $400, maybe low 400s, and then consolidates lower. But again, don't get me wrong. Like, this thing is pretty deep in whatever rally it's currently in. If I had to call it, I think that this rally goes a little bit more. Other than that, I don't have strong opinions because when this one does reverse, it's going to be fast, but I'm actually not that concerned about it right now. If it comes back down below yesterday's low, okay, sure, yeah. At that point, call the rally over, but I think you're actually more likely to get one more move to the upside and then down rather than just down from here. Okay, all right. Is this guy just like, is he just off his fucking rocker? I mean, why even like hang around here? It's just strange. It's just fucking weird. Anyways, Ash Mash, what's up, man? MP Materials, sure, let's check it out. MP Materials. Oh, that's literally the name. Yeah, I think you're going to bounce relatively soon at $61, but I don't think the bounce is going to bring you back to new all-time highs. I think it's a range for a while between 60 and 85, and this is probably a major high for a while, honestly, man. Yeah, this has got to be a major high or major swing high, monthly swing high. So short term, a little bit more downside, probably bounce relatively soon between 60 and 57 on the lower end, somewhere in that pocket there. Bounce maybe comes back to like mid 70s, but I think that this thing's done. You know, you're going to get your traditional sort of bull trap, you know, boom, one last try and like, oh my God, it's back to normal. And then boom, something like that. Generally. Anyways. We're boofering. The political talk has disrupted the, oh snap! Stream's boofering. Explain how your dog pegs you color. Explain how English works, sir. Our super chat's still up. They're still open, but we're probably going to be closing down the stream very, very soon. Creighton C says, Billy, you can't convince someone of the truth when they are not open to seeing truth. I don't even think it's that, man. I think it's just people have to experience, their own pain first before they will change their views. And that's also the problem with socialism and socialistic people, because they usually come from highly, highly insulated bubbles where they've never actually really dealt with real world issues. And so they just don't fucking know. They just don't fucking know real pain. They think like, you know, their Starbucks being too hot or their Amazon delivery being like 1 day late is like the massive fucking issue. But yeah, man, until you have a real reason to change your beliefs, you're not going to, because that takes energy and your brain wants to conserve energy. Anyways. Okay, what the fuck? Yes, many bank. Okay, I literally have no idea what half of these conversations are about. Like, I'm just trying to look at some fucking charts. I did this to myself. Like, I've totally brought this on myself. Jesus Christ, this is so bad. I need to make a note to never mention politics ever again. I mean, I stand by what I said. Like, Memdami is just, this is going to be a fucking disaster for New Yorkers. But at the same time, I don't know, maybe that's what they deserve. Like, that's what democracy is all about. You get to vote in whoever the fuck you want and deal with the consequences after that. Dan Robertson says snow on the 5-day. We'll do that, and then we'll do Canada dollar. I'm actually very curious to see some snowflake. Is this why you wanted to look at it? Snowflake chart. Actually bullish on snowflakes. I think this one's going up to like probably $300, honestly. Maybe some stops along the way, but this is good. Let's look at some Forex. Some Canada dollar versus USD. There we go. Bad. Oh, you're telling me my Canadian dollar is just becoming more and more shitty over time? But they have socialistic policies. It's supposed to be good for the economy, right? Yeah, I don't know if it might get one more try up to like 73 to 74 cents again, but whether it does or doesn't, this is a toppy area right here. I had this chart written out for like fucking a year now. Yeah, I have no changes to it at all. And maybe it is just down from here. I mean, you do have three drives of hidden bearish evidence here. It's bad no matter which way you look at it. I'm actually, the higher time frame I go, the more and more I'm inclined to say it's going to be down next rather than up first and then down. I think it's just down from here. But yeah, very, very bad. Let's go check out what the euro dollar is doing. They're going to be great as well, right? They have a very strong economy. Probably another local high right here, actually, which it's not good for me because I need to get my fucking money out of Europe like right now. Just hold it together for another like few weeks here up, okay? Just another few weeks. Just yeah. I don't know. Another major high, the 200 simple on the monthly, probably yeah. Probably yes. Probably yes. Late to the stream. Did the 5 days cross on CME? Not the 5 day, but the 4 day did. The 4 day did. So that is active, and that does have a targeted region of around 102.5. So yeah, that is kind of a that is a problem for me on this rally for Bitcoin. I don't think that this rally is going to be like the rally. I think that this rally gets rejected, whether it's 116, whether it's 120, I don't know, but I don't think it's going to be the rally to zoom to new highs. Why didn't you just buy Bitcoins as rules crypto? It's probably a question many people ask themselves. Every time Crown mentions politics, someone takes a bong rip and goes to the gym. Well, at least they're getting kind of healthier, I guess. How about the pound versus the dollar? Sure, man. Actually, I'm curious to see how England's doing. Well, I guess looking at their currency is probably not the best way to do it, but wow. Pound's been on a, Jesus Christ, a 45-year downtrend? No, a 50-year downtrend. I didn't know it was that bad. It's monthly, quarterly. This is a great place for another lower high. I think this one's coming down from here. The conservative cat says EVLV. EVLV. Okay, Evolve Technologies. A lot of yelling in the hallway right now. Oh, snap! Quiet down, y'all. That's what all these especially the socialistic comments have to come down. Oh, snap! Got another socialist. Actually, honestly, I'd actually be bullish on this thing. I look at this as a consolidation above that last swing high. That higher low is on hidden bullish divergence. So I don't know if this consolidation takes, another month or two. I don't fucking know, but I do think it resolves to the upside from here. I'd be bullish on this thing as long as you're above 731. Below 731, I change my opinion, sure. But until then, I think it's sideways enough from here. And, once you break those highs, I think your next logical move is going to be $10, something like that. Luke Doyle says, I think we missed my super chat above. XLE. My bad, dude. My bad, sir. My bad. XLE. This is energy, right? Yes. Bullish. Many drives of bullish divergence off of these last few lows, continuing to base off of the white 200 simple on the weekly time frame. I'd be looking for up from here. I don't really like doing analysis, though, on energy or oil, for that matter, because it's so event driven. So I feel like technicals don't really matter that much in these things. But if you had to analysize it, I'd be saying up from here, if anything. But I like, would I hold on to that statement? I don't know, man. I don't know. Mostly going off the weekly. Like the problem with this is that, like, if anything really is manipulated, it is fucking oil. Like, oil is the one that I'd say there is the most evidence for manipulation. But yeah, looking at the weekly here, if I had to call it, next move would be to the upside, probably back to like 92, 90, 93, 94, whatever the fuck it is. Like, probably just send it to 100 at that point. But I don't feel strongly about it, and I certainly wouldn't be making any long-term calls on it. And to be fair, I mean, this thing has generally not really lived much above about $90 for a prolonged period of time, except for kind of recent over here. But, that was your 2008 high. That was your 2014 high. So it's like, how much more does it have to go? I don't know, but if I'm going with that long-term trend, then I should be looking for a major swing high here overall. And maybe that's exactly what it is. I really don't know. Like I said, this one is event-driven, and I do not have a good edge here. I do not have a good edge. Yarbrook says, no, return to me. Return to what, sir? Return to what? Be Flemish, be Belgium? I don't know. What do you think, Caretaker? What do you think? I'll take his advice on that one. Great live. I'm out until the next time. Glad I didn't miss this one. All good, Mr. Audie Allen. Take care, man. Have a nice day, sir. Art by Opsy says, into crypto because it's politics, resistance. Politics are gayer than sports. Or I thought it was gayer than AIDS, but yeah, gayer than sports. Yeah, that also kind of works as well. Yeah, I don't know. Sports are pretty gay too, man. Just like watching, grown men and play a fucking game. But It's fun. It's fun. Like, look, it's fun. I just don't want to get like super involved in it and be like, hey, the fucking Bears need to win this weekend or I'm going to be real mad. I'm going to fucking cry and I'm going to be pissed off and I'm going to fucking rip someone's head off if my Bears lose. That's how some people sound. But like you could also just say like, it's a good game. Saw some cool shit. There's some major amazing feats of athleticism. That was fun to watch. That would be what a normal person might say. Anyways. Now, to be honest, though, the older that I get, the more that I do realize that, yeah, politics actually does matter. And you do need to do a few things because the problem is that the problem with being a libertarian is that a lot of libertarian ideas are actually very, very good. And I agree with them. But the problem is that if you are a libertarian, the socialists won't leave you alone. And that is why politics actually do matter and why you actually do kind of have to get involved. Otherwise, well, history. You need sports as an excuse to kick the dog every now and then. Hey, wait, what? Breads and circuses. It is bread and circuses. Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. Orange Eva says LRCX. I think we'll end it on this one, unless if I missed anyone else. But let me know if I've missed anyone else. It's the last chance. I think it's actually this thing, not a crypto. Yeah. LRCX, it is. You're looking at a 4-hour and a daily. Very bullish higher term time frames. Daily is a breakout, hidden bullish evidence, continuing to new all-time highs, same as the 4-hour. It's a blue sky breakout, man. Just don't get in the way of it. Yes, I do think that this rally overall in the weekly is going to be done, probably in the next month or two, but this is a parabolic blow off top, absolutely. But is it going to continue more from here? I think that's likely. Libertarian society would be a shambles. It would, to be fair. It would be fair. I mean, for just the simple fact that you wouldn't be able to defend your country anymore. And I mean, Jesus Christ, like the obvious example is, how our social work is going to actually work, what? Just like the person who pays the most is going to win. Well, what if another country pays for, bad actors to fuck around with things? I mean, it's just an easy way to fuck with the whole system. So yeah. Creighton C says, hey, that's not what Beans fan... sorry. Fair enough. We looked at IREN earlier, man. I think that's it for today, guys. We probably talked a little bit too much about the old politicals. Big mistake. Lesson learned from next time. But yeah, it is what it is, man. People are free to express their views. We can all disagree with each other. Who gives a fuck? Because it doesn't matter anyways. All right. There's your positive message for the day. Anyways, like I said, for Bitcoin here, this rally, did it top out at 116? Does it go to 120? I don't fucking know. I just feel very, very strongly that whatever rally this is will naturally come down to about 102 before any sort of real sustained rally can occur. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I suppose we shall pick it up back in tomorrow. Hopefully we have a little bit more information tomorrow. We'll have the 5-day and the 10-day time frame closing, which should give a little bit more clarity on the situation. But I suspect it's going to be a big waiting game until Wednesday, which is the FOMC as usual. But yeah, want to wish everyone the best as always, even those of you who wish me negatively, even those of you who disagree with me politically or just hate me in general. That's all good. I wish you well too, because it would be better if everyone was doing better, because that is probably why you feel bad to begin with, because you're just in a bad situation. It's all good. We can all be friends. But first, you need some prosperity. And the best way to get prosperity is through capitalism. And I'll leave you with that message. Good night.